Good morning, everybody. Another time, another day, another time, a new Thrive Factor Live. So I'm super excited to have my gorgeous friend Liesel with me today, Queen of Retreats. And if you don't know that, I don't know where you've been hiding. And of course, Archie's in on the act. He knows Liesel, and we can't help but want to jump in on camera. So the purpose of these Thrive Factor Lives has been twofold. I've done some, so if you've been in the group for a little while, you may have seen some of the recordings or been able to join us live. So these are all being live streamed initially to my fabulous Facebook group, and also being shared out there on the interweb so that people can get a sense of what this whole Thrive Factor can do for us in our businesses. So there's been two sort of streams of Thrive Factor Lives. One where I've been doing a debrief session and giving you an insight into what a Thrive Factor profiling experience is like. And then what I'm doing today with Liesel, and I've done this with Emma a couple of weeks ago, is doing an unpack of something in your business through the lens of your archetypes. Now, Liesel, in true Queen Ruler glory, has got something that's a bit of a doozy for us to work through. But at the same time, she and I have had some incredible conversations over the 4.5 or so years that we've known each other, because my visionary creator and Liesel's Queen Ruler love to go big. Yeah. So we're just warning anyone that's a bit feeling potentially contracted as you listen to this. Don't be. Every one of us has our own combination of archetypes that make up our Thrive Factor. And that is a really key thing to remember, because what I will talk with Liesel about could be relevant to you, but we all have different combinations of archetypes. And even when we have the same archetypes as someone else, we have other lived experience and those sorts of things that can influence how well we know and use our archetypes. So Liesel, enough about me for a minute. I would like you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your core business and its many moving parts, and also tell us a little bit about each of your 4 archetypes.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know me, my core business is all about retreats, and I've been running retreats for, 25, 6, 7, 8 years, a long time. I think I started really on reflection when I was about 16, running things in girl guides and youth groups and stuff. But what has happened was I was a social worker in my previous life, and I stepped into running retreats coming up 6 years ago full time, which is a bit exciting. And yes, there are many moving parts, because as a Queen Ruler, and my other archetypes are mentor teacher and inspire believer and shapeshifter alchemist. So they really meld and work well together.
Beautifully.
To make this big, amazing dream of really the biggest retreat organisation in the world. I guess I've never put it like that, but that's my vision.
That's exactly what you've been working towards, though, and what we talk about. But yeah, you're right. You probably haven't said that out loud that way. So there you go, everyone. You heard it first on a Thrive Factor Live. Okay, so you shared with me a little bit about what you wanted to talk about, and as I said, to unpack through the lens of your archetype. So do you want to just give everyone a bit more information, give me a reminder and a bit more information, and then we can look at where you're at and where you want to be, and you look at the influence of each of your archetypes on that.
Yeah. So my vision is a bit like, and I actually haven't said some of this stuff out loud, like we just said. So it's very interesting when I had to think of it in the sense of what I wanted to get out of this live. So my vision is a bit like Google for retreats. So when you think of that, that Google hub and that Google office where there's lots of moving parts and lots of people, and it seems from the outside to be an ideal place to work, that's what I envisage. So it's about creating that place where people can jump on, a bit like, say, booking.com. People can jump on, go, I want a writer's retreat in Peru, and find a writer's retreat in Peru. I want a business retreat in London. I want, a yoga retreat in Byron Bay, you know.
Yeah.
So that hub, but the beauty of this is it isn't just a listing of retreats that people pay $50 or a percentage. It's about having accredited facilitators that if you book a retreat through us, you know you're getting that value of, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right. Fabulous. So, and I did have some inside knowledge into knowing that was Liesel's vision. So I feel very privileged to already have known that, but I love that you've shared that out loud and can really plant the seed out there, because your archetypes, it's an important part of what you need to do. So what is the specific thing you want to talk about today? We want to look at that vision through the lens of your archetypes, but what specifically do you want to get out of this sort of 20 minutes or so we've got together?
Because I've only ever really focused on my Queen Ruler archetype, I don't know a lot about. So my others are Mentor Teacher, Shapeshifter Alchemist, and Inspired Believer.
Okay.
And I don't know a lot about them because I've only ever gone, oh, Queen Ruler. I knew I was a Queen Ruler.
I know. Right down to the reason when, you know, what was underpinning my creating. I can see the artwork that I painted for you when we were in Fiji earlier this year for Ultimate Girls Week Away. And it was definitely had the Queen Ruler had to lead there. But you know, this is a good thing for all of us to remember, that while we may feel more comfortable with one or two of our archetypes, we have multiple archetypes. You know, I can find myself spending a lot of time in my Mentor Teacher or my Inspired Believer or my Liberator Engineer and go, oh, that's all right, I've got a whole lot of other ones, and my Visionary Creator, which is actually the powerhouse behind everything. So yeah, so your Queen Ruler, this is who you are, and this is how you identify. And I, you know, I even referred to you as the Queen of Retreats, because that's how you are and where you're headed. But you were right, you have 3 other archetypes. So which one would you like to talk about first? And then we can look at her influence and support for you in what you're creating.
Probably the Shapeshifter Alchemist is the most mysterious one for me.
Most mysterious one for anyone who's got her. It's her middle name, Mysterious.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So what do you know about the Shapeshifter Alchemist?
Look, not a lot. That and correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, she has that ability to mold and wave and move with what's going on, 100%. Which is quite evident in the number of streams I have in my business that I can flex and you know, grow them all. But other than that, I don't know a lot.
Okay. All right. So we're really missing huge opportunity here by not knowing much more about the Shapeshifter Alchemist. And anyone who's listening in, if you have this archetype, you know, put some support below and let Liesel know what you love about a Shapeshifter Alchemist. If you don't, then or you don't know much about it, then you know, listen in. So the Shapeshifter Alchemist, she is the magical, mystical archetype. She's also the chameleon. So the shape-shifting aspect, as you said, you know, it's that fluid of ebbing and flowing and changing, to the point that sometimes she can be so changeable that she either gets lost in the world and people don't know what's going on with her. Yeah. And I've seen you do this.
Yeah.
You know this. You've talked to me about, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who I am today. That's your shapeshifter. Yeah. And that will frustrate your Queen Ruler significantly, because the Queen Ruler archetype is so grounded and so clear about who she is and what she's doing. But when you compare them together and take the best of the alchemist part of the Shapeshifter Alchemist and the mystical part of the shapeshifter with the Shapeshifter Alchemist, you've got the magical queen. You are the magical queen. So that can accelerate your potential for growth and success significantly. So when a Shapeshifter Alchemist is clear about who she is and she can own her inner magic and weave things into her days, not just her weeks and how she exists, but on a daily basis, things that feel and are magical for you, whatever they are, because your version of and definition of magic will be different to mine. So whatever makes you feel magical and just feels like you don't have to explain it, it just feels magic. Doing more of that in your day every day is going to ground in the best of your Shapeshifter Alchemist archetype and therefore activate the alchemist in the best possible way. The alchemist is the master manifester. Now, some shapeshifter alchemists have had an experience where they're like, yeah, I get the manifesting. All the shit stuff I think about comes to reality, and it all just becomes my norm. And that can happen. And that is when, you know, I tend to find that when a shapeshifter alchemist is ungrounded, uncertain about who she is, trying to be everything that everyone else wants it to be. So she's being the chameleon, chopping and changing and adapting all over the place, you know, getting bored with what she's doing. So, oh, we'll just go over here and do this bright, shiny thing, you know, do this. And I know you do that. Also, your mental teacher gets in the way of that too. So when you're able to be clear about who you are, so really embodying not just your queen ruler, but you're also the mental teacher as a grounded archetype. There is a grounded energy that can come with the inspire believer, even though she's super excitable. But when you can really ground into all of that and own the magical woman that you are, you have an ability to activate that alchemist in the best possible way. Now, the thing to then work with is to have really clearly defined goals with a focus for what you are working towards. So that's going to help your manifesting aspect of the shapeshifter alchemist to go, okay, that's right, this is what we're working towards. Yeah, this is what we're doing. And being unwavering in what you work towards. So they've said the very fact you just shared out loud, and there's like this, you know, global accountability for this is what Liesel said she was going to do, and keeping saying that over and over again is actually a good thing, without the potential, I guess, the self-talk that can come up when we put big dreams out there. And again, queen rulers, visionary creators are two of the archetypes that tend to dream big and on a scale that can intimidate a lot of other people.
Yeah, apparently.
I know, but we can sometimes also have an experience if we have a moment of doubt, or we're uncertain, or something not so good's happened, or your inspire believer's exhausted, where we're a bit like, I shouldn't have said that because now everyone's expecting me to do it, and what if I fail? Yeah, queen rule is more than vision.
Yeah,
because the queen rule thread of, oh, I'm going to get executed if I fail, and I've said this, I've made this big deal about something, and now what if it doesn't come true? So not doing that, and instead going, you know what, no, but I'm the magical queen and I'm totally got this. Now, make sense?
Yes, very much so. I often go, oh, this would be a great idea, and tell someone, and then it takes a life of its own, and then I'm like, oh, that was a bit bigger than I anticipated.
Yeah, like Ultimate Girls Week away. I'm just going to put a few facilitators together for a week and get a big speaker, and we'll just go to an island in Fiji. Next thing you know, there's this like whole amazing big, you know, hundreds of women coming to this incredible event.
Yeah.
But that took you like a year of nonstop planning and working to make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ta-da!
So we talked a little bit about your shapeshifter alchemist, and I mentioned a little bit about her influence with your queen ruler. Which of the other two archetypes do you want to talk about next?
My mentor teacher, like with my retreat school and the mentoring, and sorry, we're just getting a skip delivered. The dogs could go a little bit ballistic.
It's all right. We're real life.
But my mentor teacher, like I love, sharing what I know. I love, that satisfaction of watching people walk away with further knowledge from my knowledge. Yes. Yeah. But again, other than that, I don't know a lot about the mentor teacher. I know a lot of the stuff I just do.
Yes.
And there we go.
That's all good. All good. Okay, so mentor teacher, here we are. Here is our little studious little one. So this is an archetype that you and I have the same. So mentor teachers, they do have a lot of knowledge. Yeah. We love to learn. We like to gather knowledge in a formal sense, and also knowledge from our lived experience. So there's a lot of holistic knowledge and also wisdom.
Yeah.
And this is something I see so many mentor teachers not making the most of, is the innate wisdom. So we come to the world knowing stuff. We also want to learn more. So we layer more and more and more and more information and experience and those sorts of things into it. But essentially we arrive on this earth with a knowing of things. So this is that wisdom. Mentor teachers can be very good at ignoring that wisdom and just thinking that they need to go and learn something new or do something new or justify that they actually know something. So this is why some mentor teachers can go on that path of wanting to gather more pieces of paper, more qualifications to prove what they know. That's because they're mistrusting their knowledge, their knowing, and their wisdom. That's where that's coming from. Yeah.
I think for me, like I don't, like every now and then I go, oh, I should, further my qualifications. And I go, yeah, no, I can't be bothered. Like.
You don't. That's your queen ruler kicking in there. No,
Yeah,
somebody else could do it for me. But no,
yeah.
but equally, you're right. You don't know. It's more about, for mentor teachers, it's not about going and learning something new in a formal sense. It's about using what we already know. It's about fully implementing what we know. It's like it's affirming what we know, and then we will find other people, other mentor teachers probably, but people to learn things from. But it's not about full scale, or I've got to go and add more and more and more and more and more to this, because that is actually a distraction. And that to me is always a sign that you're not trusting your wisdom.
I agree. Like I totally feel like I've stepped into, I know what I'm teaching, and I know it from experience. I know it from, 20 plus years of running retreats. And I don't, like someone said, oh, you should do events management, or you should do business management. Business management, I'm just going to pay people to do it. Let's be honest.
That's your queen ruler kicking in there, definitely. But you're right. It's when somebody else is saying should, that's always a sign for me. And some mentor teachers, again, if they that shoulding from other people, that guidance and support, this is where the coaching industry can be really challenging, where you might work with a coach and they'll be like, you have to do this, or you must, or you should do this. It's like, no, you really need to know who you are and to be able to work with what you know and work with your intuition. People can guide you, they can give you ideas, they can support you, they can teach you. But if they're shoulding to you, that's another whole thing entirely. Now, your mentor teacher archetype also has a gift for supporting and guiding others through transformation, which is exactly what you do in retreat. And I've seen you forget there, as you said, you know this stuff and you just do it, unconsciously. But that's where the powerhouse of the transformation that you facilitate and hold space for is coming from your mentor teacher. The level of quality with which you do it in terms of the outcomes people achieve, but also the entire experience of being in a retreat container with you, that's your queen ruler mentor teacher together. You want the best possible learning experience for someone, but you also want the best possible ambience and experience. It's the VIP version of living and learning and life transformation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. So then how does the inspired believer fit into all that? Like I love when I get all excited about, like I could do this or I could do that type thing. But then how does that initial excitement trickle out into the rest of it?
Yeah. Okay. Inspired believer here, is our little excitement bunny, our cheerleader of the archetypes. She is far more influential than a lot of women who have this archetype actually understand. She's the one archetype that I have that I'm still getting to really know her influence, and I certainly have, which I see other women doing at different times, have dismissed her impact in the past. Going, she's just the bubbly, fun, sort of one. But she is the energetic archetype. So she gets incredibly inspired. She looks like she actively seeks inspiration. Now that might be particularly when it's coupled with the mentor teacher, from a learning experience. She gets inspired by reading, by listening, by doing something, by a program, by a quote, by a picture, by a story, like all those things. It's just like, as I often say, Facebook was made and Instagram was made for inspired believers, because we just get excited about all the cool stuff we read and see all the time. Now, we are seeking inspiration. We are also providers of inspiration, or we hold space for inspiration. We can sometimes forget that and instead be focused on the inspiration that we receive and sharing that, rather than actually the greatest gift for the inspired believer is to really tune in and to be inspired by who she is, and to really share who she is with the world in a way of going, I am an inspiration. I am inspired.
Yeah, that really makes sense, because it takes it to that, for me, in my mind, it takes it to that next level and supports the vision of the Queen.
Yes, definitely.
Because one thing, particularly after the Ultimate Girls Week Away, which we know was in February, and then we almost came back to this chaos of the world,
yes,
imploding. And I always said to you and my team, the Facebook group will probably just kind of trickle on for about a month or 6 weeks and that sort of thing after the event. Well, it hasn't. It's really been a thing that's carried these women through a world pandemic where their whole lives
100%.
have been changed, and watching those, I've always known relationships come out of retreats. Like, I've seen that forever that I've been running them, but to really see it in its purest essence of this support of this group is getting women through the world turned upside down.
Yes, yeah. So you created that container.
I know. And I know that logically, I know that, but then I forget that at the same time.
Yes.
And sometimes someone will tag me in a post or send me a message saying, I feel this way because of what you created. And I go, oh, yeah, like I did that.
Yeah, you did. And this is the thing for the Inspired Believer. We need to take that on board. Inspired Believers can be good at going, oh, but that's just what I do. And because there are so many Inspired Believers in the business world, we can feel like everybody does that, but they don't. When you meet someone who's not an Inspired Believer and the way that they look at you and how you get excited about things, you'll be able to see it in a different way. Yeah. So it's about really knowing and seeing how that can work together. The energetic part of it is that the Inspired Believer can put so much energy and the excitement of everything into what she's doing. She can also burn herself out.
Yeah.
So being really clear about what energy means to you and what supports you. Now, this is where I always draw to the other archetypes. So your Queen Ruler, being able to be in that space of, I am a leader and I've got incredible potential to lead on a large scale. And for you, that you do want to do that. Some Queen Rulers tell me they don't, but they tend to really all have something going on. You like nice things. You love to have beauty. You like to have quality. So using those experiences to support your Inspired Believer. The Shapeshifter Alchemist, the magic is going to support the energy of your Inspired Believer. The mentor teacher, the wisdom of her is going to support your Inspired Believer's energy. So this is where they're all coming in together to support each other. Yeah. But owning the fact that you are an inspirational woman and not going, oh, I'd love to, I want to be an inspiration. Well, you already are. And this is something that as Inspired Believers we need to do. And then to use that energy, if you feel inspired to share, because that's coming from the inspiration and the energy. And it's also going to be part of your magnetism to draw people in. But also if you feel inspired to share, you are a mentor teacher. So the sharing that you're likely to do is going to be wisdom. Rather than going, oh, I've got to, like calculated posts about different things for marketing and stuff. Go with where, what's coming from your gut in terms of, it's all on path. You're all on message. You've got one big vision. Everything you talk about is focused towards that. So being in that space of, I know who I am. I know what I want to create. And I'm not on a timeline where it has to happen by here or here or here. Like it's a long-term vision.
Yeah. That makes total sense, because what I'm doing at the moment is looking at funding avenues to make that dream a reality and to, bring it forward in my, in my vision. And I totally lost where I was going with that.
Shapeshifter just had a moment, just changed trajectory.
Yeah, she totally did. I have no clue, but I think knowing that they all weld together a lot better than I originally thought is really helpful.
Good.
And like for weeks I've been saying, like, I've got your book here and I've been saying, I'm going to go through it and I'm going to write sticky notes and I'm going to make a list of all these things. the reality is I'll probably go one night while I'm watching Netflix, oh, let me grab this out and scribble a book, because I know how I operate and how off the cuff I can be. Social media, knowing that it's okay, because yes, we get so caught up in scheduling and, you know, having to have this. I'm developing the biggest retreat launch plan at the moment with, you know, the help of the beautiful Laura, and, you know, melding that into what I know already, and that, and then I'm like, but why can't I just post this photo of me and my dinner and that sort of thing? I know. But then getting caught up into that, those naysayers who go, no, you need to stick to this strategy and do this and do that. Like,
I think strategies are a guide, and some people work very well following formulas. Some archetype combinations work very well following frameworks, formulas, strategies. Others need a little bit more fluidity, and you are a shapeshifter alchemist. So you need to have variety. I always will say to shapeshifter alchemists, you need to have a lot of variety in your life, so it doesn't eke as much into your business, so that people know who you are. But you've established yourself as retreats are your thing. So, you know, the different things that you're doing are the different parts of you, but they all relate back to retreats. Where shapeshifters are doing themselves a disservice is where they've got so many moving parts that are so different that confuses the audience. That's not you, you know, and food is part of a retreat. So sharing a meal and going, I wonder what we'll eat when we go on retreat again. Like that's all, you know, that's all part of it. So if you feel motivated to share, that's what you need to pay attention to. Go with that place, and you know, you're the queen rule, you can do whatever you like. I shouldn't say that to you, queen rulers, because they take it verbatim, but no, you really can.
Well, I know when I first had my profiling done with you and you said to me, you know, a mantra that I can have, which I've continually used when I'm like, oh, this is a ick day, or what, I've had no sign-ups this week and all that sort of thing, is I'm building an empire. And that's been, for me, even, you know, when crap's going down behind the scenes and I'm fighting constitutions and all those things and established companies, and I'm building an empire. And I'm building an empire so women particularly, because let's face it, I work mostly with women, you know, that retreats are a place where women can come to step into who they're meant to be and what they're here to do. And I love being able to refer back to that.
So that's it. It's that grounding in, and as you said, it's that really knowing the bigger picture and where you're headed. I've done the same with the whole Thrive Factor, and you know, the movement that I want to create in terms of the way women relate to themselves and the world and each other. And Thrive Factor School and things are slow. My visionary creator is incredibly impatient, and yet here I am in my 11th year doing this. So it's that, you know the bigger end game for yourself and your vision, and stick at that. You know, I've said this so many times to so many different people over the years, there's no speed to success. What there is our tenacity and our belief in ourselves. And, you know, and it's some days that will be a wavering belief. That's okay. You know, we've got support, we've got community. You're a member of the Thrive Factor Inner Circle, so you've got a beautiful, you know, membership community there where we talk the archetypes and, you know, we talk a different language. You know, you've got other supports around you. You've got your retreat sisters around you. So, you know, you've got people that you can trust, which is important for a queen ruler, to have a trusted inner cohort.
So definitely.
But, you know, on those days where things are not okay. That's one day in the rest of your lifetime and beyond. Like, you know, the things that queen rulers and visionary creators are creating are going to be here beyond their tangible physical lifetime. So, you know, we're just doing the groundwork, but it can be really impatient when it's not happening. So just hang in there, be inspired by you and what you're creating. Remember your wisdom, keep the magic in your day, and your mantra of I'm building an empire.
Yeah.
That is it. There you go. Helpful?
Yes, very. very,
Okay, I
yeah.
won't say go read the book. Your mental teacher wants to read the book. Your queen ruler wants someone else to read it for you.
Yeah, and just tell me. I know. It's like I'm thinking, Shannon, could you just write up?
Yeah, I know, totally outsource. That's too funny. I've got a lot
Yeah.
of queen rulers in my life. I'm wise to all of you. You don't outsource it all. But thank you so much for joining me. Anyone who's watching us live, thank you for joining us. I'll come back in and see if there's any questions to answer. And if you're watching this in another place and you want to know more, head to thethrivefactor.com where you can find all the information about the Thrive Factor. If you have been fascinated by this and you think that being a Thrive Factor profiler would be something you'd like to do to be able to have conversations like this with women in business or women in general, then please let me know. There's, Thrive Factor School, 2 intakes a year, and looking for the most incredible women to grow this empire that I'm creating of, Thrive Factoring the world. So that's what we're doing. Who knows where that was going to go? And I don't care. I just know it's possible.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, my beautiful friend. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And have a gorgeous day.
Bye.